Good morning, traders. Welcome to the live stream for the 18th of October. Hope all is well, and we had a good night last night. Pretty flat actually. The market actually held up into the US session. Now we'll take a look at the ASX 200. We'll have a bit of a breakdown on what was going on there and what to look at. Just remembering, guys, to anyone that wants to send in a chart, yeah, feel free. And we can send it to support at tradesetup.com.au. So if you've got any ideas, anything you want to run over, yeah, feel free to send it through. Actually, just checking now. So yeah, also yeah, just whacking it. If you want to have a look at a code, just put it in the chat, and we can go through that. Yeah, so that's it. Let's get started. Let's take a look at this market here. So just give me 1 second. Alright, let's start. We've got the ASX, XJO. It's opening, it's up only 10 points, which you probably expect after yesterday's move that it would actually hold up a bit today. We did push down into the close yesterday and sort of held those levels, retested those lows from the day, I think, overnight, and did pop up. So we're looking potentially to hold those levels and a bit of a retracement, a bit of a pullback from that move down. If we just go to the 30 minute chart, so we've had that, had a couple of good legs down, a solid leg from, I think that's around that 54.74 high down to around that 54.20. Yeah, so it's a decent move. And we had a bit of a correction higher to 54.50, say 50 zone, and we pushed down to 53.90. So that was a decent move down yesterday. Over the last couple of days, we've had some good sort of moves down, and we are coming into that support zone at 53.70. So we're not far off that now. Currently, the ASX is 53.98, so it's about 20 to 30 points off that. It could easily just continue on down, but yeah, you'd think it'd have a bit of a breather, gain a bit of momentum, get some buys in there, then wash them out in a minute just to get that fuel for that move, potentially into that testing that zone, that support zone down there. Let's look at that daily. So we are, and we've discussed this. Yeah, that daily move up is still holding. There's nothing to say that's finished just because we are seeing a bit of a rollover now. That could easily happen. Hold a higher low, and then pop straight back up and take out all those negative traders out there. So really, I guess you've got to assess it day by day. Assess the smaller time frames too. I always find very important just to assess what could happen and what levels we could be looking at. Yeah, and just taking it day by day. There, we are getting in oversold territory. So that move there has been held up okay by the looks of it. We are getting a bit of support in there. So I'll just close down a few things. Yeah, so we are it's not a savage move from, say, down that 55.50 all the way down to 5200. There's a couple of big days there. We've got a couple of good days in here, and we could potentially just be seeing this type of price action again repeat itself, and then we pop up slightly and then bang, we head lower. But we were in, I guess we were in oversold territory roughly down here. We're getting to a similar type of scenario, and then we had a couple of hard days down. Like I said, we could get down like that, but it's just something we've got to realise that we are in oversold. If the market can buoy itself and we get those lower time frames, 30-minute, hourly charts, which I like to look at, as well as just anchor chart as a daily, and then go out to a weekly just to get that overall major structure, and then just go down to your lower time frames to see if it is failing down to those lows, what is happening down there intraday. Because if we start to see intraday buyers stepping in, and these that push lower is starting to hold up, and we get something like this, move down, pop back up, move down, take out these lows, and then pop back up a lower high, but then we get that higher low build in here, and then we just get that a few days of good solid price action, buyers stepping in, happy to do that, and then we pop it back up through the highs, through that 5500, targeting 56 and above. The next level up, probably looking towards this sort of 57 level on the ASX anyway. Let's look at the we'll probably do a better chart here if we can get this up. So this is sort of the intraday price action we've been looking at. The key levels, obviously we've got that move down. We can see that move down, and And what we are getting is that we popped up, made that 54.60 high. So that's a lower high. That's holding down this current leg at the moment, and that current leg hasn't broken yet. It is still technically down until we break that 54.06 level, or we push up through that. We're starting to get those initial signs. So once you start testing, this is an important thing I like to look at a lot. I like drawing these lows. I don't take a hell of a lot of I take note of them more than anything. I don't place too much emphasis on them, purely because this market can easily just pop up, wash out the people that watch it, and then roll over and take them all out again. But I do like to see, signs like this. If it pops up, it's sort of retesting towards that high. I mean, here's a bit different because that's the second touch of that zone. Once it's come down, you can easily get it pushing up through, pulling back, and then start retesting, washing out this side, and then just going in consolidation mode. But generally, I like to watch that because if it starts popping up through there, that's going to get people looking from potentially a sell to a buy. So I do like to look at that. But really, this level 54.06 is the key level, because once that washes out, then I think that downtrend is broken. We've had a retest of these lows, a minor washout of 53.80, and then we bounce back into that zone. So to me, we're starting to look like we're finding a bit of a base. It doesn't mean you can't hold this 54.06 and then spike down, and we get this daily. I think it was a daily low at 53.69.70. Easy washout, spike down there, and then retrace back in and start backing and filling back up to this 54.50 zone. So yeah, but at the moment, the major level holding this trend down here is up at 54.60. The minor leg is at 54. Sorry, minor resistance at 54.06, which is that minor lower high. We have tried to continue, failed, just washing out those lows, and then really from here, if we're going to continue, if it's going to keep going lower, we have to do it roughly from this zone. You'd expect to really this market start to get a bit of weakness. Any questions there? Just take a sip of the coffee. Okay. So I'm just looking at this price action. Let's just drill down, and this is why I know you can be getting carried away going to the lower time frames. There's a bit more volatility in them and a bit more mess. Some people don't like it, but I do like to get an idea of what's happening. You do see these washes happen time and time again on the lower time frames. So if we just take into account, this is the 54.06 zone. It'd be a bit harder to draw in that trend. Actually, no, it won't actually won't be too bad. Just drawing that trend line there. So it's only really that recent price action today. Recent price action today, we're starting to break that downtrend, but I really do still see that that's a key level. Obviously, we've a bit of a wash to the top. So the markets do that a lot, especially in the ASX. They take out these. Say 5400. It's just that was a little minor high. You'd expect it to continue lower. We've opened and washed it straight out, and then we could easily just continue through, say this zone here. If I can get it up, that's not what I want. We can easily take out that support on their way down to potentially through that zone there. My mouse is a bit fast for me today. Okay. Right, so it does look like it's heading down to that level there. It could easily just wash, take out a few of these lows, and then just back and fill back up. But it could easily just I really like it to hold that. Would be interesting just to see. Let me just get rid of that. I don't like them drawing the lines for me. I do sort of expecting. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of this price action, a bit of holding those, building a higher low, and then we can just work our way back up to this 54. If we do that, build a high low, and then we start testing up towards 54.06, that's definitely broken. We've got our high low. We've got a lot of good price action for a move up and through 54.06 and potentially back up. Just getting to holding that longer term downtrend. But we'll see how that plays out. Okay. All right, let's just take a look at a few things. So we're still holding up there. Now this is, I'll just go through here. Just a few different charts. If anyone's got anything they want to look at, just whack it in the chat again. And we will just checking the email there. So we've got an alert going on this. It's Collins Food Group, and it's going really well. I just want to sort of run through. We've probably spoken about it, and I think a few of you get the alerts, but just the theory behind it and what we're sort of looking at. What I tend to see is reasoning behind the moves, I guess, and what we're doing. We've probably got it up here. So I'll go through. This is an old chart. So we've got our resistance way up here at 535. We've got a support line. So this is what drew my attention really to this chart. Is that contraction. We've got higher lows and lower highs. That's really nice. I know we were tending up towards overbought territory, but the longer term weekly chart, if we can just take a quick look at that, it's around this zone, and that was starting to tip up again, and that was looking really good on a weekly basis. So the fact that we're down near support at that time was a really good sign. We're down in this zone here. That was holding that support. Potentially you're going, okay, if we're looking at this trade, what is our risk here? The risk is that we just get to this, even this level here. I think it was 480, 475, this little high here. The risk is we pop up there and we just roll over and take out these lows. But in that case, you're not risking a lot. You could have easily, we had to stop exit level below this low. You could have easily just raised it if it looks like it was getting tentative up there. A couple of tries, a couple of days. You've got a couple of days to make up your mind. Put your exit under this low, and then just risk that you get stopped out. It could easily just spike through and bounce back up. But I think if we were going to hold this level in here and not get to the top end of this contraction zone, then it really wasn't looking good, and I'd rather just be out. But as it was, we took the trade off this support zone, looking towards at least getting through that towards the top end, and then in one day went straight through it. So that was really nice. I really liked that price action. So now where we're heading, the weekly chart looks fantastic. We're popping out of that contraction. That we're not the first person or the last to see that contraction zone in there. Buying in the unknown is what we described a few times now, what we've talked about, and buying in that unknown in the contraction. We don't know what's going to happen, but once you get that breakthrough and you push up to 510, it's pretty much known. And we've got in nice and early. We've given ourselves a chance to get in early, and then rather than buying it up towards this level 510, we could potentially look to take a partial profit and book in some gains, because we are well into overbought right now. We're at we're sort of roughly around this area of $5 at the moment. So that's why I like that, and I don't mind raising the risk and just tightening up. So at least got a profitable trade just at the moment. It's probably only about 5 or 6 cents, but still, it's something just to lock in a slight gain. So we've got no risk on this trade now. Looking towards 510, that resistance now, we could easily just pop straight back through there. But that overall trend, and especially on the weekly, looks great. We've had that contraction in on itself, that pop back up, take out that inside high at 475. So really that price action to me looks fantastic. It really could easily just get a couple of good strong days, bust straight through 510 up, straight through 530. I think the highs were thereabouts, 534, and then on we go. So really, where we traded it and why is because we want to be trading in the unknown, trying to get in early on a potential move, a move higher, and then just taking advantage of, I mean, if you do get it wrong, you can, by getting in early and getting in the unknown, if you do get it wrong, you can potentially just get out at break even, or with a really small loss. We've got risk really light, tight there as well. So that was a good reason why, I guess, the reason why we got in that. What we were looking at there, Qantas is, yeah, it's showing good signs. I still do like Qantas. We've got an alert running on that. Now we pushed down, popped back up. We looked at it, took a short in here. That just started failing. You can see that's one retest to 310, wash out of 310, and a retest again. So that's what really caught our eye there. Really just looking for, okay, if we can't get through that, what's going to happen? You'd expect a bit of back and fill. Is that going to be a start of a new leg up? We don't know what's going to happen, but odds are a move down is failing. So what's going to happen next? Either consolidation, and if we board into that and we do nothing, so be it. We're not going to lose out too much, and if it just gets, yeah, to the extent where just sitting around banging around in consolidation, then we just get out. Okay, so I'm just reading a comment. Was there a reason you chose 460 as the risk level on CKF? And would you start looking at lower time frame charts for the stop once it's overextended? Pretty much you hit the nail right on the head there, looking at lower charts. If we just go back to, let's just go back to that quickly. Sorry, I think there's a slight delay on this, on the feed, so when I see it might be a little bit after. Anyway, so 460, I've actually got a touch below 470, but, or did I? Ooh, I can't remember, 469 I think, 459. Either way, it's not, the reason why I put it just below there, there's no real reason. I do tend to go to intraday charts a lot, because they are still a key level. There's no real major key level. You know, this is where I've got it just under here, which is that day low. The only reason, because I think if it breaks this daily low, you know, if we head up here and we come down and break that low and then break this low, I think it's just negative. Breaking two daily lows in a row is not a great sign. At least if it, you know, that's a good spike lower, we may contract, push back up, and then make that lower high and roll over. So I'm happy just to have it under there, just to lock in. It's purely picking that level on a daily basis, just to get something under the table. Sorry, off the table, more than anything else. And then I just want to see it, because that to me also is a good strong move. That 3 solid days up, so I don't mind having to be closer, because that's, it could just bring in more buyers and really push up towards that 510. So that if it was just really choppy action and in these smaller days, the ranges are quite small, maybe I wouldn't. I'd give it a bit more room, because it's like the move hasn't happened, but that move has happened over the last 3 days. So I'd rather just get something on the table. I'm sorry, off the table. Hope that helps, Anne-Marie. Okay. Now we'll just go through another few more that we're looking at here. MTS is an alert there, but I'm a bit skeptical on this one now, only because that price action is not so nice. We've had that, we're looking at sort of that pop through here as it's 214. Yeah, it's a bit of an early trade, but you know, push up through there, you'd expect it to take 215, which it did, especially after we had this rejection, you know, of 205. We opened, pushed lower, rejected, and finished on its highs for the day. Anyway, that was, you know, good rejections, took out a few days lows. So what we're really expecting to see, I mean, we've done the opposite now. Opened, rejected 215, and finished on its lows yesterday. So it's showing a bit of uncertainty in that market. Would like to have seen it, you know, hold above 215. You know, give me a bit of confidence that that's going to go up. At the moment, it could have just washed out those highs at 215. And if we don't finish too high today, it could potentially just work its way lower. But we'll have to see. I mean, just going back and look at some of that price action, the history of it, it does chop around a bit. It could easily chop around a bit. But still, the longer term price action, if you just take note of that, it is going up, making higher lows, and this, if this is a higher low, then it should really give that emphasis, bringing that bias to take out the 225, 230 zones. But again, that in essence, that's a double top there too. So it's not confirmed double top until we've got to take out this $2 for that to be confirmed. I mean, that could easily just get buys. We've got the double bottom, triple bottom, whatever you want to call it, at 2. So we've got a good support zone at 2. The overall trend, longer term trend, is up. So that double top is not as strong as this support level, if that makes sense. So odds are this is going to win out the support, and we're going to work our way up through 235. But if we start seeing some sellers entering here, and then we start getting a break of these lows, I think we'll take out. So it's a break of that 205 low, and then we could easily pull back and just start working our way down to 2. If we get through that, then I think we're going to have a good correction on this stock. But at the moment, I'm still looking at I still don't mind this price action. It's a bit choppy, but it could easily just pop up, have a good couple of days up, straight up to 225, and then we're on. But we'll see how that goes. Okay. What else have we got here? WTC, it's an alert we did have. We had it, I think it was well in here. We got it at 5:30. That's right. We got this. We were looking for a push up through here, and it did actually gapped up, but we got managed to get it around the 5:30 level, and that there is some good price action. You've got you've got a new high, pull back, some good contraction, higher low, push up, make a higher high on a long term. Contraction lower when you start taking out those minor levels, lower highs, lower lows, and then we build that minor higher low in here, and then we start getting that move up. Obviously we didn't take out, we sort of looking for a leg up like this. So from that low to high, if that's going to be a low, we can project that up and look towards, I think it was 615, 610, 615, somewhere around there. So that was the idea behind it, and we're trying to get in early when it's unknown, because we really, to be confirmed, you need to be taking out those highs. So getting in there, you got minimum risk, because that could easily just roll over. Your risk could be easily at $5 from 530, and as it played out, we did take out those inside highs and then took out this high here. But then we just failed from there, which wasn't too nice. So we did manage to lock in a partial exit, and then we had our final at 550, I think, and that's just been hit in the last few days. So this, I mean, that could still easily, you get in this type of price action to roll over and then just getting bought up again. So we could easily get that roll over. That trend could easily hold higher. I guess if we draw a trend line through there, that would just about work out to where it is at the moment. So we still got it on the radar. Well into oversold on the daily too. And if we go back to the weekly's just crossed over. There's not much data there. The weekly's crossed over, but there's no reason why this trend can't hold these lows. It's oversold. We potentially make a higher low here, and then off we go again and go out to that projected 615 zone. BLY. I'll take a look at that now. Oh, that's a lot of data in there. Okay, starting off with the monthly, it's pretty obvious what's happening there. We've been smacked down from the highs at $20. Obviously GFC time, it's just nothing's recovering from those times. Pushed back up through 2011, 12 and rolled over again. We're just getting stagnating. That's a longer term monthly, so there's not, obviously that's not a great sign, but that really, you can't take too much note of that overbought, getting an overbought, because it's, there's just not enough data there, or it's just not strong enough. Weekly again, it's really holding those lows. I mean, we can't see it because that's, unless we drag right in there. Whoops. We're starting to see, if we can just get rid of this data here, we can probably magnify that a bit. We can see these, we are slowly starting to make some higher lows, which is quite good. And I think in here, at high was 12.5 cents, 12. So that was still, those highs were holding, those inside highs there made a minor high low in here, and then we've just taken out this 12.5 and pushed up to, what was it, 19. And you can see that as the strength of those moves lower, that starts to wane. That's where you get your high lows. You can potentially, like I think here we made a lower low, 4.8, as opposed to 6.1. So we did make a lower low in oversold, but then we've tried again and just held up. So that move down was a bit weaker. This is on the weekly, don't forget. So the initial signs there from the weekly, it's starting to show that there are some signs that this is, buyers are starting to step in. We're at obviously a very low price there. If we go to the daily, if we just go in here, looking at the daily here, that last price action, it is a bit with those lower lows. We're starting to, yeah, so this is the two highs we're just talking about on the weekly basis. If we just get that, so it's these two in here. So we made the lower low, we've come back out, retested this level in here, that high of 12.5, retest that, make it a higher low, retested that higher low too. This here would have been a cracking little entry, and you can see the way it actually reacted after that. So this is what I really do like to look at, especially after you get a retest. So that's essentially a double bottom there, and it's with trend higher. So that's good. So you've got that low down there. You've had a big push up to retest those. So generally, if you've got a move down that's not so strong, you should have made a lower high and then roll over and take out those lows. But when you go all the way back up to retest the ankles, of that push lower, this one, if that makes sense, if you can see that push lower there, you've gone all the way back up to retest that level. That's not a good sign for shorts for anyone that's looking at selling. So for people that are looking and waiting to get in, that's your first initial sign that's good. Then you've made a higher low. Obviously got a bit of contraction here, making lower highs as well. Started to roll over. Retested this low here. Now I really find that as it's a really good sign. You can't get through there. We are in oversold territory as well. So there's a lot of things at that stage that we're holding up. If you got right in, say, the start of July, a lot of things are starting to show there. Okay, potentially a buy in here. We still don't know, and if you can just take across those highs. I mean, I can't do it on this chart, but if you take a trend line across those highs there, it's been broken in here, So that, to me, that's a nice little setup. That's what I like to look for. You've got contraction, a retest of the lows are holding, lower highs getting broken. I just like to draw a trend line so you get a push up through it, a pullback, and then once you get that high low build, which we did here, you could be buying in here. I'd be quite confident just buying even before you get that breakout of this high, where it's 11.5. Before you get that breakout, it's still it's a good entry because you're sort of front running that push up through 11.5, if that makes sense. I mean, as it was, we can see, and generally with that type of structure, if you get a push up and then it just starts holding, it doesn't really go anywhere, then I find that really good structure. So if I don't see that, I'd rather just be out because something's not right. I don't know. I can't see. There's things that I don't know, obviously. There's news coming out. Someone might know. We don't. Not enough buyers to push it up. But this here is a good, strong move higher from, what was it, 11.5 up to 19, 18.5. So that's really nice. So you could have got a good little payout there from just this type of entry here. Just magnify that a bit. So yeah, you can see that trend line across those highs. It's intersecting somewhere around that 10.5, and it's just broken through there. Bit of consolidation, a failed push lower, and then bang. So you get to take out those previous day's highs in this candle here. I think you're going to be really looking at that strongly, even if it's just a break. If you just bought it at open 11.5 in that day there. What's that? 29th of August, 29th of July. Sorry. So yeah, right now, this is what's working against it. You can see contraction in here. You've got a big push up, pull back, washed those highs, it hit half a cent higher, and then it's just failed from there. I obviously wouldn't buy it after that. You want to see, I'd want to see a bit, something like this, a retest. You got a lower high here, retest that 11 hold, or even 11, 11 and a half hold through here, even up to 12 if they can build a high low in there, and then look for this type of price action. But I think it's got some work to do really on the daily basis because of this strong move up. So it could have just washed out. Let's pop up there if we can just get that. So it's come up, made a high low in here, washed out a few trades. So there's a few people eyeing that, obviously, that like the stock for whatever reason. Good, but you want to see a bit more contraction before potentially buying into that, I would think anyway. So I hope that helps there. Anything else we're looking at that someone wants to have a quick look at? Just go back to see what this market's doing. SXY is another one we've got there as an alert. It's struggling a tad. I thought they would get up through. It's just washed out, potentially doing the same thing as what we did just back here, up to 29. Potentially washing out and then going. Just get that on the, just so we can see it properly. SXY, yep. So on a weekly chart, I did like that price action there, starting to find some really low levels. Right, test right down on the monthly chart, down towards 10. I know that is still down, but I'm just trying to look for early signs that it's breaking. And if you go that, okay, it's down at a good level, potentially making a high low off the monthly chart. What's happening on a weekly? The MAs are closed in together. It's looking at a bit of contraction on the weekly. It's not looking too bad. Early signs go down to the daily. You've got this double test on the daily, sorry, double bottom on the daily. It was just failed, pushed up, taking out these highs. 22, retested it quite a few times. Had that most recent retest here, and then I like that. So you've got that low alongside adding together. You've got that 22, that double bottom at 22, that support zone. Lower highs into it, starting to fail. We could easily just roll over here, but I did like that for an initial move up. It potentially, like I said, we just got that washout that we had up here. After a bit of consolidation here, a bit of a washout, then head lower. We could easily just be doing that, and then we'll get stopped out. So be it. On to the next one. Okay, looking good. All right. Just look at a few charts. Go through anything else yet? Pop it into chat. Select harvest is something someone was looking at a while ago. I don't see anything. I mean, I see that it is in oversold territory on the weekly. Made that higher low, but I don't like that price action as much. I don't see anything just yet. Maybe on the daily, if this level can hold 550, maybe retest 6, which is only 17 to 20 cents off that now. Retest there, build that high low on the daily, and then buy into that. But at the moment, it's not looking that great. It's a bit uncertain, I think, by the looks of it. AMA, we've had that before. Just trying to remember where our entry was. Anyway, that was quite positive, especially with this move up through $1. I think quite positive for us. Really did like that one. I think it was in here. Okay, on the weekly, that the chart we were looking at before, what's that? CKF, pretty much identical. If we look at that again, you got this inside high here we've taken out. If you look at, so you got that contraction in, push up, made a higher high, 525, made that low, inside lower high, inside higher low, and then you're contracting in. If you go to AMA, this is what I'm hoping for. We've got a similar type of thing, that push down, inside lower high, inside higher low, and then we got that exact same type of structure we pushed out through. And I think that's where we bought it, 97.5, just on that break up through there. We're looking for a bit, I think we're looking up towards a $1.20. Didn't quite get there, but we did get a profit on that one there, so we're quite happy with that. We could potentially just be contracting now that we've pushed out, so that's become more unknown. So we're coming out of the unknown into the known. So really, you might get a bit of support in here at $1. We'll see how that goes, but you can see those it's contracting down. We could get some buyers, a bit of a base building here, and then we'll see how it goes. But for that push up on the weekly. But again, well, actually, there you go. We're getting up to some monthly resistance. So when you look at it on different time frames, obviously the picture can change, but you just got to take note where you are on different time frames. Now, obviously, the monthly stretched up into there. We've had that pullback, and we've had another push up through those recent highs at $1, say just under $1.10, $1.09, I think it was. We're looking for that, and it just couldn't sustain it, and it's pulled back into that zone. So that could just be a washout of those highs at $1.10 on the monthly, and then we can track back in on the weekly, build a go retest $1.10, make that lower high on a weekly basis, and then roll over for then it's off the cards because it's going to take some time to actually work its way through. Just taking a look at some other things we've got going. Alright. Okay. The market at the moment, it's up 11. It really hasn't done a hell of a lot. Look, if there's anything else you want to look at, we might call it a day there. But if there's anything else you really want to look at, or you don't want to show it on the stream, feel free just to send through the chart, and I can try to get back to you just with a couple of pointers or something. Yeah, but otherwise, if there's no more, we'll get back into it tomorrow. Tomorrow, obviously, like I said, I'm on tomorrow morning. We'll do the stream tomorrow morning, and then Thursday we may not be able to do that purely because I'm heading off to do a talk in Adelaide tomorrow night. So I'll be heading off tomorrow afternoon, staying there the night, and I'll be heading back early Thursday morning. I don't think I'll be back before 10. If I will be, I'll be a bit tired then anyway, so may mumble a bit more than usual. Anyway, anyone has any questions at all, just pop them in. Otherwise, we'll call it a day there, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, guys.